Have you ever wondered why Russia and Ukraine, two nations with centuries of shared history, are now locked in one of the most significant conflicts of our time? The war that began in 2014 and escalated dramatically in 2022 has not only devastated lives but has also redrawn the map of global politics, shaken energy markets, and challenged the very foundations of international law. This isn't just a regional dispute. It's a conflict with worldwide consequences, affecting everything from the price you pay for gas to the alliances that shape our future. So, what are the deep-seated reasons behind this war? How did it escalate to a full-scale invasion? And what does it all mean for the rest of the world? In this video, we're going to unravel the complex history, explore the key players and their motivations, and break down the events that led us to where we are today. Stick with me as we uncover the roots of the conflict, the global response, and what the future might hold. To truly understand this war, we need to go back in time. For much of the 20th century, Ukraine was a republic within the Soviet Union. But when the USSR dissolved in 1991, Ukraine declared its independence and began charting its own course. This created a fundamental tension. While Ukraine increasingly looked westward, seeking closer ties with Europe and organizations like NATO, Russia was determined to maintain its influence over what it considers its near abroad. This friction wasn't just political. It was about identity. The first major flashpoint came in 2004 with the Orange Revolution. Ukrainians poured into the streets to protest a fraudulent Russian-backed presidential election, ultimately forcing a revolt and signaling a clear rejection of Moscow's interference. Fast forward a decade to 2014. Tensions exploded again during the Revolution of Dignity. After Ukraine's then president, the pro-Russian Viktor Yanukovych, suddenly backed out of a landmark trade agreement with the European Union, massive protests erupted across the country. Yanukovych fled to Russia, and a pro-Western government took power. Russia's response was swift and decisive. In a move that shocked the world, Russian forces annexed the Crimean Peninsula, a region with a majority ethnic Russian population and home to Russia's Black Sea Fleet. This act was widely condemned internationally and resulted in the first wave of sanctions against Moscow. But it didn't stop there. Russia also began backing separatist fighters in Ukraine's eastern Donbas region, specifically in Donetsk and Luhansk. This ignited a simmering low-grade war, a hybrid conflict that would claim over 14,000 lives long before the full-scale invasion ever began. So who are the main players driving this conflict? On one side, you have Russia. Its motivations are complex. Officially, President Vladimir Putin has cited the need to demilitarize and denazify Ukraine, claims that are widely dismissed as pretext. More realistically, Russia's goals are to prevent Ukraine from ever joining NATO, which it sees as a direct threat on its border. It also aims to secure a land bridge to Crimea and reassert its dominance as a major global power, reclaiming influence over former Soviet territories. On the other side is Ukraine, led by President Volodymyr Zelensky. For Ukraine, this is a fight for its very existence. It's about defending its sovereignty, its democratic right to choose its own alliances, and its territorial integrity. The Ukrainian people have shown incredible resilience, fighting not just for land, but for their national identity and their future as a free European nation. And then there's the international community. The response from the West, particularly NATO and the United States, has been unequivocal. They've refused to put boots on the ground in Ukraine to avoid a direct war with Russia, but they have provided an unprecedented level of support. This includes billions of dollars in military aid, advanced weaponry, intelligence sharing, and extensive training for Ukrainian forces. Simultaneously, they've imposed some of the most severe economic sanctions in history, targeting Russia's banking system, energy exports, and political elites to cripple its ability to wage war. Other countries have played different roles. Belarus has acted as a key ally for Russia, allowing its territory to be used as a staging ground for the invasion. Meanwhile, nations like China have walked a fine line, offering diplomatic support to Russia without providing direct military aid, all while calling for a peaceful resolution. For years, the conflict in the Donbas remained a bloody stalemate. But everything changed on February 24, 2022. In the early morning hours, Russia launched a full-scale multi-pronged invasion of Ukraine. Columns of tanks rolled across the border from the north, east, and south. The primary objective was audacious: a lightning-fast strike to capture the capital, Kyiv, and topple the Ukrainian government within days. The world watched in horror, with many analysts predicting a swift Russian victory. But they were wrong. The Ukrainian military, backed by its fiercely determined citizens, mounted a heroic defense. The battle for Kyiv became a global symbol of defiance. President Zelensky famously rejected an offer to evacuate, declaring, "I need ammunition, not a right." This incredible resistance forced Russia to abandon its assault on the capital and retreat from northern Ukraine. Following the failure to take Kyiv, the war entered a new brutal phase. Russia shifted its focus to conquering the eastern and southern regions of Ukraine. This led to some of the most intense and destructive battles of the 21st century. Cities like Mariupol were besieged and reduced to rubble, becoming symbols of immense human suffering. The fight for Bakhmut turned into a grinding, months-long meat grinder, with staggering casualties on both sides. In the south, Ukrainian forces achieved a major victory by liberating the city of Kherson. As the war raged on, Western support evolved. Initially providing defensive weapons, allies began sending more advanced systems like HIMARS rocket launchers and Patriot air defense systems, which helped Ukraine strike Russian targets with greater precision and defend its cities from missile attacks. This influx of sophisticated weaponry was crucial in helping Ukraine hold the line and even launch its own counter-offensives. The consequences of this war have been devastating and far-reaching. First and foremost is the human cost. Tens of thousands of soldiers and civilians have been killed. Entire cities have been leveled. And the conflict has triggered the largest refugee crisis in Europe since World War II, with millions of Ukrainians forced to flee their homes, either to safer parts of the country or abroad. The economic impact has also been global. Russia's invasion sent shockwaves through energy markets, causing gas and oil prices to spike and fueling inflation worldwide. Both Russia and Ukraine are major grain exporters, and the disruption to their supplies has threatened food security in many developing nations, particularly in Africa and the Middle East. Geopolitically, the war has been a game changer. Instead of weakening NATO, it has strengthened the alliance's unity and purpose. Finland and Sweden, two historically neutral countries, abandoned their long-standing policies and joined NATO, fundamentally redrawing the security map of Northern Europe. At the same time, Russia has found itself increasingly isolated from the West, facing unprecedented sanctions and diplomatic condemnation. This has also highlighted growing divisions on the world stage, with debates emerging about a new global alignment pitting the West against a bloc of nations like Russia and China. So, where do things stand today? The fighting is now concentrated in eastern and southern Ukraine, along a vast front line stretching for hundreds of miles. It has become a war of attrition, with intense battles for every town and village in the Donbas and Zaporizhia regions. Russia currently occupies significant portions of 4 Ukrainian regions, which it illegally annexed, but Ukraine continues to fight back, launching counter-offensives to reclaim its territory. Official peace talks have completely stalled. There's a profound lack of trust between the two sides, and their core demands remain fundamentally incompatible. Ukraine insists on the full restoration of its 1991 borders, while Russia is unwilling to give up the territory it has seized. Despite the deadlock, international diplomatic efforts continue. Turkey has played a role as a mediator, and the United Nations helped broker a crucial deal to allow Ukrainian grain to be exported through the Black Sea. The one thing that is certain is that the future remains highly uncertain. The outcome of this war will undoubtedly shape European security and the global order for decades to come. As we look back, this conflict serves as a powerful reminder of how unresolved historical grievances and competing geopolitical ambitions can erupt into devastating modern warfare. It underscores the profound importance of national sovereignty, the right of a nation to choose its own path without foreign coercion. It also highlights the critical role of diplomacy and the need for strong international alliances to deter aggression. The world is watching, hoping for a just and lasting peace, but also preparing for a future that has been irrevocably changed by these events. Thank you for watching. It's crucial that we all stay informed about complex global issues like this. If you found this breakdown helpful, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more in-depth analysis. Let's continue the conversation in the comments below. Take care and stay curious.